To the upright Burkinabe people and those in the Sahel States, sisters, brothers, liberators, and comrades, we stand at a critical moment in our story, a moment of profound transformation, of radical reimagining, of unapologetic resistance. Today, we do not merely speak of connection, we embody Pan-Africanist solidarity and fraternity, a living, breathing commitment that flows through our veins, transcending borders, languages, and generations. We are inspired and energized by the revolutionary leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traor of Burkina Faso, the courageous leaders, General Tchiani of Mali, General Tchiani of Niger, and the entire Alliance of Sahel States. These are not just political leaders, we know, but architects of a renewed Pan-African consciousness, creators of living, liberated zones that challenge the very foundations of imperial cartography. To our brothers and sisters in the Sahel and our communities of and in resistance there, we see you. We recognize that the revolution that you are waging is more than a political moment. It is a profound spiritual and material reclamation of African sovereignty. For many Pan-Africanists, this revolution represents a direct form of reparations from an African epistological standpoint. That is, the cessation of violations and laying the foundations for guarantees of non-repetition, a powerful taking back of our sovereignty, a reclaiming of our resources, an active resistance to the Mangzi, that is the African Holocaust of neo-colonialism. You are not simply changing governments, but dismantling the very infrastructure of neo-colonial oppression, seizing control of our destiny and striking at the heart of Euro-American imperial exploitation. From the African diaspora in Europe, particularly through the powerful work of the Stop the Mangzi campaign that I represent, we extend our most resolute Pan-Africanist solidarity. We are not distant supporters, but active participants in a shared Pan-African liberation struggle. Our connection is not theoretical. It is blood, it is breath, it is collective memory and collective future. Our vision is revolutionary. We are rejecting the colonial borders drawn after the Berlin Conference of 1884, 1885. We must continue to reject the European models of statehood and governance. We must ensure, by the harnessing of our global African people's power, the revolutionary Pan-Africanist indigenization of our political, economic, and social systems. We must reconstruct our collective power through horizontal community-led governance, and we must build the autonomous economic systems based on mutual aid and collective prosperity. And of course, we must protect and regenerate our ecological systems, centering African knowledges of planetary stewardship. The Alliance of Sahel States represents more than a political alliance to us. It is a living laboratory of African self-determination. Each liberated zone is not merely a territory, but a blueprint for repair of the African continent and our corresponding peoplehood, nationhood, and the establishment of what some of us decolonial Pan-African reparationists refer to as Ma'at Ubuntu Man in Ubuntu Duna. That is, an Africa based on the principles of Ma'at in an anti-imperialist, decolonial, multipolar global justice world for all. And we see your role in this, in the creation of the Alliance of Sahel States. We are not seeking to recreate the nation-state model imposed by our oppressors, but to forge new forms of collective organization rooted in our indigenous knowledge systems, our communal philosophies, and our revolutionary spirit. To our diaspora communities in Europe, I salute your unwavering commitment. Our African communities here in Europe continue to hold high the banner of Africa First through decades of relentless organizing, scholarly resistance, and unbroken solidarity. From the anti-colonial movements to the current Pan-Africanist resistance, African heritage communities in Europe have consistently demonstrated that our commitment to liberation knows no borders. Our presence here is not just resistance, it is powerful, it is transformative. We are a force that challenges the imperial narratives and that keeps the flames of our people's collective liberation burning bright. To the rest of us, by our own African people's power, we are creating not just the United African States, but a regenerative constellation of African liberation, a profound reconstruction that goes beyond artificial borders. Our emerging Pan-African nationhood must be rooted in African indigenous knowledge systems, guided by ancestral wisdom, committed to planet repairs, that is the nexus of cognitive, reparatory, and environmental justice, go beyond colonial constructs of governance, and prefigure a radical reimagining of our African and human potential. We must advance in taking action to evolve existing states beyond the borders drawn by historical and contemporary colonial oppressors, which separated indigenous African ethnicity and nationality from one of each other and from us in the diaspora, to develop plurinational African states which are premised on African knowledges, wisdom, and law, such as Ma'at, Ubuntu, and the equivalent that you have in Burkina Faso that our brother spoke of, reciprocity, interdependence, mutual care as the foundation for our political economy. To the leaders of the Alliance of Sahel States, we say your revolution is our revolution. As our brothers and sisters in Azania's rallying cry was then and still is now, Bououay Africa, which translates to come back Africa or let Africa return, a profound call that echoes through generations of resistance, calling our people on the continent and in the diaspora to reclaim our sovereignty, dignity, and reassert our vicegerency over our besieged planet and her people. The struggle continues, homeland or death, Africa will be free.